I unfortunately have two different acts of terror from over the weekend to talk to you about. Both incidents, different, but in some ways raise similar concerns. Let's start with the first one. A shooting at Fort Lauderdale Airport in Florida on Friday, just before 1 p.m. local time, near the baggage claim in Terminal 2. The suspect traveled from Anchorage, Alaska to Florida and had a legal, identified, and checked gun in his luggage, specifically a 9mm semi-automatic handgun, which he used for the shooting after getting his suitcase from the baggage claim. 5 people were killed, 6 taken to the hospital, 30 to 40 others injured but not taken to the hospital. And of course, as often happens whenever there is any incident at an airport, about 10,000 passengers stranded. The suspect was not killed, reportedly arrested without incident and without any shots fired by law enforcement. The airport closed for the rest of the day, reopened the next morning. This entire incident that left 5 dead, 6 wounded, and 30 to 40 others injured to some degree lasted reportedly 70 to 80 seconds. And the suspect in custody is 26-year-old military veteran Esteban Santiago-Ruiz, who was born in New Jersey, served in the Iraq War as a combat engineer, later served in the Alaska National Guard. And according to his family members, he had become mentally unstable after his tour in Iraq, had recently received a psychological evaluation and treatment following a number of incidents. And indeed, federal officials have confirmed that he was undergoing treatment for mental health problems. That will be a key part of the analysis coming up. In January of 2016, Santiago was arrested and charged with assault in an incident involving his girlfriend in Anchorage, Alaska. The criminal complaint shows police saying that Santiago had attempted to strangle her. And officials also said that Santiago visited the FBI field office in Anchorage in November this is just 2 months ago, after reportedly hearing voices in his head saying that he should be committing acts of violence. And he said that on the one hand, he was in control and didn't intend to hurt anyone. But at the same time, he claimed that the U.S. government was controlling his mind and making him watch videos by the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. So some serious red flags here, Pat.
Yes, and apparently about an hour or so after the shooting took place, there were rumors of another shooter at a different terminal.
Yeah.
And that's what actually caused people to start rushing to the tarmacs, to stampede out of the airport and for it to be closed down. So it's an interesting look at human behavior and the effectiveness of terrorism in that way.
So a lot of the video we saw of the people out on the tarmac was not related to the 70-second incident in Terminal 2, but rather a follow-up fear of an incident in another terminal.
That's exactly right. There were rumors being spread on social media that there was a second gunman, and that's what caused people to react.
So there's a few discussion points here, all very important. Number one is the discussion that is in the background of most of these mass shooting incidents, which is that of mental illness. And we have here numerous interactions with individuals who called into question the shooter's mental health and stability, and clearly the right help was not ultimately provided. Now, whose fault that is and where the blame lies for that, it's a more complex question and something we could look at. But there's another issue here which has to be discussed, which is the firearm angle. There is a gun story here because this is an individual who, by all accounts, had, to use a term loosely, not a technical term, had lost his mind, but not his ability to own a gun. Numerous instances of interactions with individuals who should have been able to say, because of this man's mental state, he should not be allowed to have guns at this time. Legislative options exist to give law enforcement and concerned family members and mental health professionals the ability to take guns away because of acute mental illness situations. California and Washington State have enacted such laws to temporarily remove firearms from people. We have data from Connecticut, which has a similar law, which says that these policies are quite effective. So there is a gun story here as well, isn't there?
And you know what's going to be said on the other side, too, that you're just trying to prevent the most recent terrorist attack and that you're taking away his Second Amendment rights without due process.
Right. Well, of course, if we have a law which says this is not These are interventions which are allowed because of acute mental health conditions. There are a number of these, which don't just relate to guns. Ways in which we have enabled certain agencies or individuals or professionals to say, temporarily, until we can sort out, to take a term from Donald Trump, what the hell is going on, we are going to do X, Y, or Z, and the temporary removal of guns when there is a concern like this going on is absolutely important. Number three, there's the ISIS Muslim story. And in this particular case, we have some online who are saying, well, here we clearly have a Muslim extremist who was essentially influenced by ISIS. Everybody who watches this show knows I have no problem saying that if that's what I believe. I don't know that that's the case here. This is an individual who believed that it was actually the government, by showing him ISIS propaganda, that was getting into his head and causing this instability. If you're convinced that that was some kind of cover and that really this is just an ISIS dude, this seems like a seriously mentally ill person. I am not in the game of saying, oh, when it's X, it's ISIS, and when it's Y, it's just mental illness. You know, if you watch my show, that that's not what I'm doing. I don't see the primary lens here as being the lens of radical Islam, although I'm open to having my mind changed. This seems like a seriously disturbed person. Last thing on this, just the other day, as part of an Anti-Defamation League program that I'm participating in, I was briefed along with a group of others by a terrorism and security expert, and specifically this issue of outside of security terrorism at airports was mentioned. Domestic flights, at many domestic flights, people who have not been screened, unscreened passengers, are allowed into the baggage claim area. And additionally, we know about the risks that exist when people can bring whatever they want up to the point of the security line. And this is why Tel Aviv airport starts with a security perimeter. I don't know if it's a half mile or 2 miles outside of Ben Gurion airport, but when I was going to the airport to fly out from Tel Aviv, we were stopped. And someone comes up, and someone who is trained in behavioral observation and looking not for whether you have 110 or 90 milliliters of contact lens solution, but examining behaviorally, asked to open the trunk, looked under the car with a mirror. You are starting this process in concentric circles far away from the terminal, and this requires a complete change to, TSA is not exactly going to be able to do this approach, are they?
Yeah, when we think of TSA, they're going to screen people more so based on how they look rather than how they act. And it's good to see that at least countries like Israel are taking charge and making it more about behavior.
Thanks for watching this video. Before you watch the next one, remember, we're raising money to expand the David Pakman Show Big League, as well as expand progressive activism. Go to davidpakman.com/donate. Donations of any size are much appreciated.